D-Ray says, my mistake is not tracking any metrics at all except weight. Yeah, man, that's a very common issue that a lot of people have, is only tracking their weight, and that's all they do. Okay. In some cases, I do have some people who are tracking their weight, their body fat, and their lean body mass. But that's all they're tracking. They're not tracking anything else, right? They're not tracking their happiness levels. They're not even comparing how good they're doing compared to where they were before they started, right? Or they're not tracking their circumference measurements, or they're not looking at anything else, right? I always look at photos, right? So I'm always looking at photos and doing different things. And so sometimes what happens is people will go, and let's just say that their test on a daily basis is how they look in the mirror. And one day they go look at themselves in the mirror and they look fat, they look gross, they look whatever they come up with, right? And they'll look at that, and no matter what the numbers say, no matter if the numbers indicate that they're on the right track or whatever, they'll get whatever they saw in the mirror and be like, no, that's it. I look terrible. I look horrible. This isn't working for me. I'll give you a great example of this. Okay. So about, 8 or 9 years ago, I was working with a client who wanted to do a fitness competition. Okay. Now she had worked out her whole life and all of that good stuff. Okay. And so what ended up happening was we started training. We're training for about 6 months to get her ready for this fitness competition. And then 8 weeks out from her show, in fact, this might have been 10, 15 years ago. It was a long time ago. So 8 weeks out from her show, we took photos, right? Because we do our photos every month, but we took her photos 8 weeks out from the show and did all her measurements and did all of that. And before I could even explain to her what the measurement said, she looked at her photos. She said, "Oh my God, I can never do a competition. I don't look like a competitor. I look awful. I'm horrendous." And literally walked out of my office, and I have never seen that person again. However, if she would have sat in my office and listened, she would have seen that since she started, she lost about 15 pounds of fat. I don't even know how many pounds of muscle she gained, but she could have been an absolute rock star because she progressed so much throughout the 6 months that we were working together. At this point, it's probably 4 or 5 months that we were working together, but she progressed so much from the very beginning. But all that mattered to her is that her photos didn't look like she was show ready, right? Which, if you're doing a show, you only look show ready the day you're doing a show. And that's the only day you ever look show ready. But she didn't look like she thought she needed to look, and none of the other metrics mattered. And she literally walked out of my office, and I promise you, I've never seen that lady again. She's gone forever. Okay. True story. So a lot of times we put way too much emphasis on one metric more than another. And that's why it's so important to look at all these different metrics and really figure out, what is the whole story of everything? Yeah. Okay. Maybe my weight didn't change. That may not be a bad thing, right? Or maybe my body fat percentage didn't change. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Let's look at your circumference measurements. Let's look at your clothes. Let's look at your, how much you've progressed. Let's look at your habits. Let's see what's going on there. So we got to get a big picture of what is happening. Okay. And it's not always just what's happening with your physical results. Sometimes your skin starts to clear up. Sometimes you have more energy. These are things that you can track. Okay. And so just sometimes, like I said, your clothes will fit you better. There's a lot of different non-physical results, or at least body fat and weight results, that you can track that actually are helpful to understand that you are progressing. So the more metrics that you can track, okay, the more likely you are to see a comprehensive idea, or get a comprehensive idea of what's actually going on with your body. Okay.